if you're paying for like a 5-hour studio time, then in that studio time you need to use 3 hours to like make your songs. Come prepared. Then use those other 2 hours so you can get a proper mix and edit, you know, because the engineer, whoever's engineering or producing, you know, your song or whatever, should be able to give you a clean version at the same time. You know what's crazy? Because people would just send a random email. Like, I don't know this email, so I'm not looking for it. There's no like title or cover head. It's just a song, an MP3. There's nothing else to it. There's no like who's on the song, who produced the song. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me a little something to go off of, not just a song.
RapDillz Exclusive, come slide.
Keisha Renee, welcome to the HQ.
Yes.
RapDillz HQ, thank you for stopping by.
Appreciate it. Word. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. We've been locked in for years. So this is only right that I get you on this platform and let's talk about the journey of becoming the voice of the city. Let's start off. How did you start off like this. Is Keisha Renee your actual name? Is that your full name?
Yes, Keisha Renee Garland. Okay. I am a Garland out here.
Dope.
You know.
So you used your actual name as your personality name, and it clicks. It sounds good. What made you want to use your actual name? So
when I was actually going to school to get into radio and stuff, everybody had like weird names. You know, like everybody had like some crazy names, and then my teacher, he was just like, you know, it's hard to brand yourself when you start doing things like that. He was like, you know, it's getting to the point where everybody's branding themselves with their names. And I was like, you know, Keisha Renee, like it rings, so why not? And I just felt like I could carry that along the journey, you know, rather than say Fatty in the Brains or something, you know, like.
I feel you. Word. Nah, that's dope, because you definitely, it's a blessing that your actual name has that click to it. Radio and hosting, how did you get into that? What made you want to get into that? Was it something that you watched as a kid, like 106 in Park or something maybe that geared you that way? What geared you in the way to want to be a host, a radio host, and what you do?
So, of course, 106 in Park was like everything growing up, MTV. I actually wanted to do television first before I even did the radio thing. But it started when I was in high school. We had like this little TV program thing, and we were running the morning show. So, like the morning announcements, you know. So I got into that, and then like when I would leave after like, you know, our show would air, because we all had TVs in the classroom by like my senior year. So when I would be walking in the hallway, people like, Keisha, I see you on TV, or you know, hyping me up. And then my teacher actually said, like, she introduced me to like the new school of radio and television at that time. That's what it was called. And, you know, the name changed or whatever. And she was like, you know, if you're not thinking about going away to college, you should just do Hudson Valley. And they had like a 2-year program that went side by side with that. So that's kind of how that whole journey started right there.
Okay. How was those 2 years of schooling? Like, what type of things did you take from that?
So as far as like the Hudson Valley side of things, it was just straight party, networking, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you meet so many different people. Even like, all right, so I went to Colony Central High School, but I was always like involved with other schools. You know, I had other friends, like I was in an Albany dance group and stuff. So like when I got to Hudson Valley, it was a lot of people that actually came from other places, like Jersey, Philly, you know, like all over. So I was just like networking, and, you know, I was always throwing parties, and I always had like a bunch of girls around me and stuff, like my friends, they got friends or whatever. So, and I'm cool with like mad dudes, like, and so they'd be like, oh, Keish, like, you know, pull up to the party, bring your friends, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, so that side was like the party side. But then the new school, it opened my eyes up, because it was like, you know, I started just being around people that were so much like-minded like me, and that really wanted to like level up in this business and do like radio, television and stuff, and to see their passion and their hunger made me want to do it even more, and made me feel like it was more achievable, you know. So
coming out of school, what was some of the first opportunities that you had to be in this space? Or
like out of high school or college?
Out of college.
Oh, so out of college, right? You know, we have to do the internship program. I was always like, you know, I procrastinated a little bit at the beginning, so I wasn't able to get the internship that I really wanted, because I wanted to go down to the city and intern for like 106 in Park, because it was still like 3 years left shy of it before like it canned it. So I was like, dang, I really want to do that. But the internships is unpaid. I was mad young where like I didn't have the job or anything like that. My mom and them, they couldn't afford to like send me down to live in the city. And you know, it's crazy because if I think about it now, I would have been able to succeed because I know I would have been able to get a job down there and bust the moves or whatever. But at that time, I just couldn't see clear. So I'm like, all right, so the new school, they're dope people. It's a dope school. Wouldn't change it for anything. But their network is kind of like just here, you know, so they only had their real connections within the city of Albany or whatever. So they had hooked me up. I didn't want to do the news program because I'm like, I really want to do entertainment. So they was like, well, the only entertainment thing we got is to hook you up with Albany Broadcasting. So I did the Albany Broadcasting internship. I was only 19 at the time, and they needed you to be 21 to actually like be a part of the street team. And so I had to like do my internship, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go away to school, come back, bust out this radio program at new school. So I went there twice, and then when I interned again, I interned at Albany Broadcast, at Town Square Media, and I got the job.
Fire.
Yeah.
So that was your start to being a radio personality.
Yes.
And just learning the whole system of that. And a few years later, or I don't know how much later, you tell me, but you became you got with Hot.99.1.
I did that in 2015. So from 18 to 25, I had to like really just stay focused, stay motivated. You know what I'm saying? I actually was bartending down in the city just to keep my mind and like be in that element, you know, because I wasn't feeling it here. So when I had went away to school, I only went away to school for like a year, because college tuition is like crazy. And again, I don't come from like a family where like I could just get it, you know. So and my grades was like mediocre, so I wasn't getting no like scholarships or anything like that. Although you should always check into the scholarships and grants. I did not, but for people that do want to go to school, look into those, because they do have money out there for you. I was just, you know, procrastinating or whatever. But yeah, so basically.
So 2015, you started at Hot.99.1. How did that opportunity come about?
So after I had interned, I had to wait like 8 months to actually get in there because my license was bad. And, you know, to start off in an interim level job and to be a part of the street team, you have to be able to drive and you have to have a clean driver's record. My mom always told me when I started driving, like, it's going to catch up to you. You know, I always had tents and a speaker, you know, riding dirty and stuff and, like, getting pulled over. And it caught up to me. It, like, almost held me back from, like, making that decision and, like, being able to have the opportunity. But long story short, that's when I did the bartending stuff down in the city and stuff. But when I got in there, I was on a street team. I worked with all 5 stations. That's WGNA, that's a country station. ESPN, that's a sports station. Q103, that was the rock station. We had an alternative station in Hot.99.1. And I was literally setting up tents, speakers, carrying them things, breaking my nails, sweating, rain, sleet, snow. Oh my gosh, you have to park the van all the way down the street, bring this stuff up. It was like a lot. You have to deal with a lot of people. But I basically seen Supreme one day and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just go in the office. I know he's the program director. Let me just ask him if he need anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need me to start doing like blogs or something? Do you want to do like a podcast? And we just kind of built from there. And then he was just like, threw me on weekends, started doing weekends. Then I started filling in for them during the days, which was crazy. And then from that, they offered me the midday, and I was doing middays. Like, it literally was like a 6-month transition from like everything. And then I was like doing middays for like 4 years.
You really came from the ground up and built.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's very dope. And that's basically how you became the voice of the city. And like, the thing I say, for years in upstate, since the music scene even started clicking off, you've really been our Angie Martinez, our one person that goes hard for your city and champions your city and uses the opportunities that you have to put light on the city.
Right.
Why? Because you didn't have to do that. Why did you feel a need to use your platforms and your connections to to put on for the city that you're from?
Well, like you said, like I love Albany, New York. I love a lot of people out here. We have so much talent. Me and my friend Zaya, shout out to Zay. You probably remember him from the new school.
Right.
Yeah, he's doing his thing too, whatever. But yeah, we had actually started a podcast from the new school as like a project called In the Cut. And we used to have, and like the setup, everything was like so crazy. Like he literally lived in Troy somewhere. I forget the street he lived on, but his house was dead in the cut. Like you literally had to go down like the back way to get to it. So we was just in there. It was like in the cut. So we started, having like some of the artists that was already at the new school pull up and do stuff or whatever. Then it just started catching buzz with like the city or whatever. And then, we all go through like personal things, and, he had a baby, he moved, I'm trying to go away to school. So we had to like seize it, and we just never got back to it. But that was kind of like me starting to put on for the city. So I always wanted to keep doing that. Right. So by the time I got to Hot.99.1, one of the first podcasts that I helped create and start over there was the Hot 16. And I had like everybody hitting me up wanting to do like their freestyles. I did like 20, 30 people out here or whatever. So it was crazy. And shout out to my boy Nels Online. Right. He was a great friend and my videographer at the time. So he was like pulling up with me. We would pull up to like they hood, the trap house, wherever they wanted to shoot their freestyle at. That's where we shot their freestyle out, and we put it up on the website. So
where did that vision come, just to know even back then that content was this important? Like, you came out of college doing it. Like, what was your vision on content and where it could go? Well,
I always knew content was going to be big based off of just being at the new school. And then, just being in tune to it. And then YouTube, World Star, you know what I'm saying? Like, to see other people creating things and doing things, it was like, why can't we do that? Why? Like, you see, I forget the dude that was in Chicago or whatever. Rest in peace, though, he got shot. But he used to film all of them. And the crazy thing is, we had some of them that come up here. Rest in peace to JoJo, too. But his brother, what's his brother's name? I forgot. But he was coming up in the cut, and Zaya was working with him. We actually have like a billboard of everybody signing it, so I gotta look back on it. But we had a lot of artists that actually came through. Like before, they was like little pups. You know what I'm saying? To see them grow so big, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's crazy. So during your time at Hot 99.1, you've connected with some of the biggest artists.
Yeah.
Besides the local artists that you were bringing on the platform, what's some of the first big industry artists that you got to meet and actually catch a vibe with on your platform?
Yeah. So this story is so crazy to me because, all right. So when you're up there, right? I was kind of like the rookie. So they was always throwing me like the artists that were just doing like the media runs, and those, when they do media runs, it's like a hit or miss. Like they could be a big artist, they could not be a big artist. So one of the very first artists that I interviewed was DaBaby. Wow. And it's so crazy because he literally came up here. We didn't have Uber or Lyft at the time.
Whoa,
so this was 2017.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was like 2017, and I have the pictures to prove it too in the old interview. But the interview never got put out because I was doing it by myself and I forgot to push the record, so I only have the audio.
That had to be so much time. But we learned from it.
Right, I was so tight. Well, now to this day I'm tight, but like when that happened, it was just like, well, I don't know this kid from North Carolina, like whatever. Supreme asked me, can I stay and do an interview, because he was actually running late because they had flew in. Because I forgot his name, but he's out in Schenectady, and he actually did a feature with him, and DaBaby only had the Light Show song out at that time. Nothing else that was like on the radio moving like that. So long story short, they came up here. They had to catch a cab to the station or whatever because we didn't have Uber or Lyft. They get there, we just chatting, chopping it up. But to hear, like, see what he was like projecting and manifesting, and it all coming true, it was like crazy. And then I had to bring them in my car, my old little Acura or whatever. Had to bring them to their next spot because I'm like, well, don't catch a cab. Like, it's mad late at night. You know what I'm saying? We don't got Uber or Lyft right now. It's not popping out here. I'll just drop y'all off in Schenectady or whatever. Not thinking anything of it. You know what I'm saying? Then I pull back up to the shoot or whatever, because DJ Show was DJing or whatever. So I'm asking them. I'm always like hospitality, you know. So I'm always asking people like if they're like in my space, like, are you good? Are you good? He was like, nah, I'm good. Like, are you good? I'm like, yeah. Like he kept asking me, was I good in the spot or whatever? But I'm trying to worry about him because this is my like area. You know what I'm saying? But knowing him now, he was definitely good. He could hold his own.
That's crazy. That's really dope.
Yeah, facts.
And just it's dope seeing the way he took his career.
Yo, yeah. It was a few people there that impressed me, you know, like Jess Hilarious, Corey Holcomb, you know what I'm saying? Like D. Ray Davis. Like we had a bunch of people that came through that I interviewed, and I was like shocked. But when you actually sit down and talk to people, you take away from the celebrityism, how, if that's a word, you know, them being famous, and it's really just like a me and you type of thing. So it's so cool.
That's crazy. That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
Manifestation for real.
Yeah.
And like, kind of going back to the local artists, just artists, period. You gave people so many opportunities and played their music on the radio, on your show, during your slot and stuff like that. What was some of the things that made you say okay to some of these artists? Like, just for anybody going into it, like that wants to contact their radio station or just a radio personality, period. What's some things that you guys look for to be able to give them that yes or that consideration to play their music? What does the artist have to get?
Right. Well, as far as like that radio station went, like I felt like if I okayed it and like I was like pushing for it or whatever, DJ Show, Biz, like everybody else will like follow suit or whatever, because they'll be like, all right, because like Keisha, you already out in the streets, like, you know, da-da-da. Now, as far as like me, I don't know, maybe I was like too accessible to people, but at the same time, like I'm a people person, and like I just really am a genuine person, and like because I'm from here, I think that had more of an effect because they're not from here. So me already being in the mix from like high school, you know, growing up with different people inviting me different things, it was easier for people to approach me. And I felt like some people's approach, and then like I'm trying to like figure them out, like, you know, and they'll tell me like something a little bit about their story that's intriguing or whatever, and it's like, I want you to win. Like, I'm not trying to hold you back. I want you to win. You know, you help me, I help you. You're artist, you know, I'm putting out content of you or whatever, so that's helping me out. But at the same time, I'm giving you a platform that, you know, you probably couldn't get on if it wasn't for me here, you know, because Jams wasn't doing it. No shade to them over there, because, you know, I rocks with them. But at the same time, it's like, it's levels to it. And that's another thing people don't realize, like, radio, it's very intricate, you know what I'm saying? To me, it's like smoke and mirrors because I'm already on that side. But from everybody else, it's like they just think it's supposed to be, but it's a lot to it, you know what I'm saying? Like,
hopefully we can go into a little bit. But like, so when these artists would hit you, I'm sure their mixes wasn't always on point. They might not have the song edited. Maybe they're hitting you like personally. How does a program director, what's like a list of things that the artist should have together as far as like radio edits and things like that? Maybe the management should hit them in a professional way. Like, what's the way they should go about it? Well,
I always say, like, if you're paying for studio time, most artists go in there, they waste time like with their friends, they having all these people pull up, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're paying for like a 5-hour studio time, then in that studio time you need to use 3 hours to like make your songs, come prepared, then use those other 2 hours so you can get a proper mix and edit, you know, because the engineer, whoever's engineering or producing, you know, your song or whatever, should be able to give you a clean version at the same time. You know, if you're paying for all of that, you should be able to, but you have to use your time wisely. Or you have to buy an extra hour, you know what I'm saying? But you should already have like a clean radio version. You shouldn't send them, like, yeah, it's okay if we're out like at a club or whatever, like you would want to like try to get next to the DJ, you know what I'm saying? Like talk. And, you know, when you're outside, I'm not going to say you should, but like you got to respect the DJ too. Like, you know, a little something on the side might get your song played or whatever, or just building like a genuine relationship at that. But yeah, basically I would just say, like, when you're in the studio, already have your stuff together so that you could have that clean version, and then send like an EPK. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like a cover art, a little bio about you. You can't just send a song, or like, you know what's crazy? Because people would just send a random email. Like, I don't know this email, so I'm not looking for it. There's no like title or cover head. It's just a song, an MP3. There's nothing else to it. There's no like, who's on the song, who produced the song. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me a little something to go off of, not just a song. So yeah, I would just say, you know, if you're emailing them, have it like together a little bit more. If you're approaching them, approach them with something that can stick. You know, something that is like memorable. Right.
Those things are important. Yeah. Very important, because like, question, just because I just didn't know how the radio works. What if an artist sent over a song, right, and they don't 100% own that beat? Like, maybe it's a remake of like maybe a not that song, but it's not their beat. Could the program director or the radio host get in trouble for playing a song that's over somebody else's beat, or is that allowed?
So the thing is, all right, so majority of the radio stations have indie artist shows. Like, you know, Hot.99.1, they got the show with Nyla Simone and Spin King. They do their little thing. You know, we had what was ours called? Damn, that's so crazy. I can't even think of it. Pregnancy brain, my bad. But Who's Hot, the Who's Hot show or whatever. So, you know, I was able to play whatever song. It doesn't affect us per se. It would affect the artist if they wanted to try to make money off of it and get like the streams, the BDS spins and stuff like that. So they wouldn't be able to monetize off of that. And if the song ever blew up, then whoever song that is, they're coming for you. But it's like, for instance, like Capella Gray, like, he's not getting paid off that song because that song is already a rendition of something else. He's getting paid off his shows. You feel me? So it'll be something like that. But now he's in the loop. He's got the bag to do whatever he wants. Now he can put on however he wants to put on. But that's how that goes. Sometimes when you have a song, it's not necessarily like your song. You just kind of blow up off of it. Like the radio stations and like, well, the radio stations is like last, like the record labels and stuff, they're coming for you. Like, they want you, they want to cut a deal with you. But when you cut a deal, you don't own those rights to that song, because it's so many, you know, you got to give it to whoever made that beat, whoever song is more familiar with it, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot to it. So we wouldn't get in trouble per se. You just wouldn't be able to make money off of it. And the DJ could like spin it in like their mix shows. You know what I'm saying? Like, say if it is like, for instance, US Bay had a song, what was his first song he had out here that everybody, no, not Joy. It was the things you do. So they would play the actual song and then throw his song in there after, you feel me? Inside the mix. And then on the Who's Hot show, I would just play it, but he wouldn't be able to make money off of that unless he went through the channels that, you know, I can't speak on that. I don't know if he did or not, but yeah.
No, that's very interesting. Wow. Thanks for breaking that down for us and the fans and the artists. Something else, like, we hear with radio stations that like Hot.99.7, they have like a list of 20 songs that is kind of gonna get played throughout the whole day. What is the reason that happens? Like, what's the business behind that?
Budget.
Is it top 20? Oh, it's a budget.
A budget. All right. So the songs you hear that play at the top of the hour, you hear at the end, and you hear maybe like twice in the show. So you probably hear, like, in an hour, you probably hear the same song like 4 or 5 times, right? Wow. That is because the record labels and stuff has a big bag that they are pushing to make that happen or whatever. You need a budget to be on a actual, you know, time frame. Otherwise, artists get pushed into like the DJ mixes or the indie artist shows. You know what I'm saying?
But they're not actually paying for their song to get played, correct? I don't know. You tell me. Is it that they're paying for advertisement space?
It's marketing. It's marketing, advertisement. It's kind of go hand in hand the same way. Okay. So yeah, pretty much they are paying to have that song played. Wow. But then it also goes off of like, the more you hear a song, the more people's gonna stream it. So now your numbers is automatically going up to keep you in the loop regardless. You know, so yeah, it's pretty much, it's a little bit more intricate than that. But for the most part, to sum it up, it's like they have a big budget, and that's what artists think. Like, that I came across with when I was working at the radio station, something that I personally learned too, was like, you can't just think that you're about to be on a spot at 2:00 and your song's being played after Lil Durk. It's not like that. Like, you're competing against artists that has the budget to keep their songs in that rotation and stuff or whatever. And then even still, like, you have to have a budget. Like any artist out there, and I know it's hard because I've seen it and like I'm a product of it too, trying to invest in myself or whatever. Like, you really need to have a budget and a plan. Like, if you have a song, people, it's so popcornish like now, like it's like you drop a song, you drop a video, then 2 weeks now you want to drop something else, or you drop a fucking you drop a whole EP of like 7 songs or whatever, and then next month you want to drop another one. It's like, bro, you have 7 songs you can push, you can put videos to, like, and then don't just see. I come from a generation of like the street team marketing, like that guerrilla marketing, you know what I'm saying, where like, because I worked on a street team, we used to put banners up, we used to be driving the van around. Like, I remember Supreme used to be like, oh, just take the van and go drive it around, you know what I'm saying, like, just to have it in people's face. You have merch and stuff, you can't just rely on putting it on Spotify or Apple or on your Facebook or YouTube page and it's gonna do what it do. You need to physically be in people's faces. Like, pass out cards, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to do that. And I think a lot of artists lack that and just try to utilize just the social media part of it.
No, that's an ill breakdown for like yourself, so like other people could help you in
right. And not for nothing, like when you personally meet somebody, it's more memorable than you just sending me a link to your YouTube. Because it's like, all right, I might watch it, I might not. But if I actually see you physically and like we're talking and like I'm chopping it up with you, even if it's for like 30 seconds, you know what I'm saying, a minute or whatever, something in there is going to be memorable, you know what I'm saying? Or you give me like a merch or something, like I don't know. I just feel like it's more tangible and, it's more memorable, and you might get a little bit further by doing that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And something, because I know you're like so multi-talented. You're not just, even though being the voice behind that, the voice of the city is a huge thing, you're actually like working the boards, and you're like filming these side podcasts, and you're also being like the #1 host of the city for some of the biggest events. Yeah. So let's talk about the events. Because we have events out here and it can be a huge artist, and the person that's hosting it is Keisha Renee. She's the voice of it. Having that name and that photo on that flyer gives your event that much more clout and stuff like that. How did you start getting into event hosting and things like that?
Well, shout outs to all the promoters that ever booked me, because like you guys gave me the opportunity to like be on. But a lot of people did come to me because I do the radio and stuff. So it's easier for me to like market, shout it out. Now, if it's something that they paid for through the radio or whatever, I can shout it out all day. Like, I could like give you play all day and stuff. So, that kind of came about. But yeah, I would say like me and G, shout out to my boy G. I started another podcast called Slick Talk. And that was with like DOC and Ciroc. Shout outs to both of them because they're both doing amazing things. All 3 of them. And at first, I'm not going to lie, I was kind of scared to host because I'm like, dang, like, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? But then I was just like, G was just like, yo, like, be yourself. You know what I'm saying? Just go up there and do what you normally do. And it kind of just like started, trickling down or whatever. But yeah, definitely shout out to the promoters and just me networking with people, me being in the mix. And then people would be like, oh, Keisha, I want you to host this, da-da-da. And then one person, I start hosting, then the next person, so.
Yeah, so it just grew. Because now if they don't know, the bag is up for a Keisha.
Right.
It's worth it. It's
Facts.
You really got to set the vibe in that event and make people feel good and all of that. Besides what the DJ is doing, like is that something that you're going to continue doing in the future? Do you even like doing that, or is it like, I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah. No, I love hosting, and I won't stop hosting at all or whatever. What I do know is that there's 2 sides to hosting. Well, there's 2 levels. There's people that just get put on a flyer so that they can promote it, and they might get in the club for free, might get a bottle or whatever, just to have more people, but they don't ever get on a mic or anything like that. Okay. But me, anytime I was hosting, I'm always on the mic, shouting people out, having fun. Like, I think that's more of what a host is, rather than just being on a flyer. you know, to like just engage with the people. Like you're coming there to make sure that, all right, you're paying me to host your show. So it's kind of like I said, like I'm big on hospitality. So I try to make sure if I'm having a good time, I want you to have a good time. So that's just the vibe.
That's been proven. I'm gonna just give a little story about, I don't know what event we was at, but one time I walked in and Keisha Renee made me feel like Ace from Paid in Full. Feel me and the crew walked in and Keisha on the mic. RapDillz, Jazz Money in the building. Right. Like that was so dope, and like that's the art to it.
Yeah.
You made us feel mad good.
Right.
The event was just that much better because of that. Knowing who was who in the streets and in the industry. Feel me? So like that's a real art. And you
and then on top of that, like, all right, so you in the club, it's mad people, it's dark, you know what I'm saying? If I shout somebody out, somebody be like, oh, RapDillz, like I want to get next to him. He's in here, like let me make my way over to him. You know what I'm saying? So it could be a situation like that too. You know? Business moves could be made.
And you build so much bridges just from things like that.
Yeah.
Like dope. When I say you're the voice of the city, I really mean that. And you've always had a saying called "Forever Lit."
Yes.
Tell us about that. How you even came up with that? Because now it's stuck. People think of Keisha Renee.
I know. It's so crazy. So like it started off when like Instagram first got popping or whatever, and like it started off as like a throwback picture type of thing. So I was just saying it like, dang, like I've been lit. I'm still lit. Like I don't have nothing that's gonna stop me from not being lit tomorrow, or you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like the meaning to me for Forever Lit is just basically like you're the light to your own journey. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't tell me that I'm not lit, or you can't stop me from what I'm trying to do tomorrow or next week. I can only do that. Wow. So if I've had that same mentality as a little kid, as a teenager, early in my 20s to like now, like I'm gonna keep that. Like it doesn't matter. Like you change courses, obviously, you know, life comes at you. You know, you might switch and pivot a different way, but I'm gonna always be good. Like, like my connections and network is always gonna put me somewhere where, you know, and my hunger in general. Like I could create something and it's gonna go. So, yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
And that branding of it was just genius, and now hearing the meaning behind it is more genius. So you can always stick with that, huh?
Facts.
And you just being a strong, beautiful woman in this industry. How is it navigating through that, being a woman in this industry? Is there like, what's the pros and cons, or just some things you have to go through to get to where you're at? Like, did people doubt you? Did people maybe treat you a different way because you were a woman? Like, what's some things just navigating, getting to the level you're at as a woman?
So like as far as like the doubt and stuff, like I don't really feed into none of that, because it's like I've had haters when I was in middle school and high school, so like that's nothing to me. You feel me? Like again, you're not gonna stop me from doing what I want to do. You're not gonna stop the people that genuinely know me and rock with me. Like we can know the same people, and you might not like me, I might not like you, but that person that is like a mutual friend is still gonna rock with us both or whatever. Like still not gonna stop rocking with me. But when it comes to the industry, I'm not gonna lie, people do try to like come off to me or whatever, but like I'm real like 10 toes down. Like I'm already good on that situation when it comes to like being in a relationship or anything like that. So like I was already like, I'm tunnel vision. Like we either gonna do business together or we not. And basically, you know, people respect it. The ones that don't kind of like dwindle away, but then there's still people that is still gonna rock with me because of what I'm doing and the energy I'm putting out, and they just want to be a part of that anyways. But I would say in this industry, being that it is like male dominated, and I'm only like 5'1", but for real, like I feel like I'm 6 foot sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And it's just because I have to carry myself like that, because I don't want to say like I've argued, because it's really, you know, kind of like cliche or whatever. But I really had to like stand up on my own, because like people be trying to like belittle you or try to talk to you because you're like a girl or whatever. And it's like, no, bro, like I'm good. Like I'm good off of you and whatever you got going on. If you don't like what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, then carry on. Because that's another thing too, like with the radio station. Everybody's like, oh, well, I was doing this, that, and third. Like, there's nobody in this world that's done some stuff first besides the people that was back in like the fucking 50s, 60s, 70s. Like, if you want to talk about doing something first, you have to do your history and your homework on who did what first. We're all duplicates of the next. You know what I'm saying? But we're building our own blueprint. But you didn't do anything first, bro. Because if you did, you would be so much further. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all duplicates of what was already done. And we all are inspired and motivated by each other, believe it or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So,
that's an answer for that. And in my opinion, you've done it gracefully and with so much respect. Like, there's, people get to where they get to, how they get it, but you're just known for being a woman of respect. Yeah. Being a woman with great energy all the time. Even though you probably have some things going on, like, who knows what you, but you never let your energy switch when you're in the presence of these people.
Yeah, you can't.
So, like, why do you always just keep that good energy and don't let whatever's going on in your personal life affect the
well, because people judge, and then, like, words do linger. So it's like, if you let somebody get into your space and in your head and change the narrative of like where you're trying to go and like what you already think of yourself, you can like let them control, I don't want to say your destiny, but they can control a situation. And I feel like you should always be in control of yourself and whatever it is that you got going on, because you're right, we all go through whatever. Like, when I was at the radio station, I had got my car got totaled out. Like, I was like in a situation where it was like crazy. My dog, shout out to my dog Zoe though, but when I got her, she gave me a run for my money. She was like, she cost me a lot of money. Let's just say that, right? So it was like, but every day I still had to walk into the radio station and like hit the button as like I'm happy. Like, and what really made that effect, because one day I was like upset or whatever. So I was on air and Supreme had text me. He was like, yo, what's up with you? And I was like, what you mean, what's up with me? He was like, nah, whatever's going on, you gotta dead that, because you don't sound enthused. Like, you gotta think about, you're doing this for somebody else. Like, even though you're in a room by yourself or whatever, like, I have to make somebody else's day happy even when my day's crappy. You feel me? Like, they're getting out of work or on their lunch break, like, me having that like lively voice and that energy, it could change. Like, you ever been down and then you see somebody like that you ain't seen in a minute or heard something and you be like, dang, like you start smiling a little bit. Like, it could change your mood. So ever since then I was like, whatever, as soon as I go in this door, fuck everything else that's going on, I'm just gonna be the happiest person ever. Like, and it's not like I'm faking it or anything. It's just that I'm just cutting it on and off.
Okay. That's strong. That's an ill ability to be able to have. And you mentioned Supreme. Did Supreme act kind of like as a mentor to you in this radio space? Like, that's one of the people that really taught you and like, not taught you, but like showed you the ropes to this?
Yes, most definitely. He's definitely a mentor. Like, everybody up there was a mentor. Biz, Show.
Shout out Biz.
Yeah, word. Like, I used to sit in the room with all of them and like pick their brains. And, like, I'll even ask them questions about myself, like, yo, like, so this is happening, or like this artist is pressing me about this, or this situation, or what should I tell this promoter? Like, I would actually pick their brains, and like they all were like truly dope mentors to me. Like, to this day, like, we're all still cool. Like,
dope.
Dope.
And like us, like, kind of growing up for years, being in the same space.
We go back.
It's been dope. Just to turn on the radio and hear your voice.
Yeah.
How did your family take that? Like, your mother or like whoever's in your family, how did they perceive that? Just being in the car and hearing their daughter's or their niece's voice or their cousin's voice on the
my family, especially my nieces and nephews, like, they look at me like I'm like this big superstar. Right. And it's because I've been able to make some things happen for them too, like, with ticket wise or like, so it's like, but I'm not even gonna front. Like, I don't have nobody in my like family that does media, radio, entertainment, or anything. So it literally was me jumping off and be like, because when I first told my mom, I love my mom, she's a GOAT or whatever, but at the same time she was like, well, where are you gonna get a job at? What are you gonna do? Blah blah blah. And I'm just like, girl, like, let me at least live. Like, I'm only 18. I don't know. I know I'm not about to be working at a desk a 9 to 5. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, I will figure it the fuck out. Like, so. And then it just so happened, like, speaking things into existence. I write a lot of my goals down. Like, I know some people could keep it in their head, but I physically, like, have a lot going on in my head. Like, I'm crazy a little bit. So I have to physically write it down. So when I see it and I start checking off, it's a great feeling. So those were one of my goals, was to like, nah, I gotta do this radio thing. Like, I gotta do this or whatever. And when I started like stepping into that light, it was just like, oh, I could really do this. Like, let me do this. But yeah, my family love it. Like, everybody was always so happy for me. They still are, you know. But I could tell you, like, my nieces and nephews and like my little cousins and them, like, they really look at me as like I'm the GOAT. Right? No, that's a fact. Or they'll be like, oh, I heard you on the radio or whatever. So, you know, it's always cool because I do it for the kids. You know, I love the kids.
Yeah, and I always said, like, seeing is believing. Like, the youth kind of has to, just like me, like, we have to see things to know it's even possible and stuff like that. And them seeing their aunt,
that's a fact,
strong black woman doing what she's doing at the level you're doing it, so I'm sure that's going to have a huge effect on them in the future.
Yes, I hope so.
Just to go towards and knowing what's possible. So
yeah.
Salute on that.
Facts.
On that. You're also an entrepreneur. You feel me? You're heavy radio and like just a personality wise, but you're an entrepreneur. You have a business called RapDillz Studios.
Yes, I just opened it up in January.
Let's talk about that. Like, what do y'all do there?
So I curate a lot of like paint and sips. Shout out to my girl Spice or whatever. She's like my main artist there. We also host like little pop-up shops. I have a birthday party that's coming up. Well, a few birthday parties that's actually already locked in. I want to do some like listening parties. You know what I'm saying? It's just a space to just be creative, I guess. You know, kind of like RapDillz Media over here. You know, so it's like just a creative space. And the crazy thing is, I always wanted it and I always needed it to do what I wanted to do. And I felt like if I would have just like jumped off that bridge a little bit sooner and like navigated into where I'm at right now, like all the things that I was doing, like the podcast, I probably would have been a little more successful in, because it was like, you know, you need a space. I'm paying for space. I'm paying to live. I'm paying to do this. That it's just like so much money coming out. It's just like, dang, I should be a trapper. You feel me? No, but yeah, so that situation kind of just like fell in my lap, and like, you know, I have a plan and for myself, and I have a time frame of like where I want to do it at. But you know, the man above has like the ultimate plan, and I feel like his plan is always the right plan and it falls into place. So now I'm there and I'm trying to do other things too. I'm gonna open up something else too.
Dope. All right, so when it comes
something real big, yeah, fact. I don't want to speak prematurely on it, but yeah.
Congrats on the event space. And
thank you.
It makes so much sense with your brand. So much sense. What's some other things that you're working on the side besides the content? You got the podcast, the hosting, the radio, the RapDillz Studios. What's some other things that you're working on or wanting to work on? Not giving too much to the people, but like just this year, 2022.
I just want to be like a serial entrepreneur. You feel me? Like, I don't want to work for nobody. I want residual income. Like, I definitely need to get my merch popping. So Dills, we gotta like lock in. You know, I know Flex. Shout out to my guy too. He down the street. Flex, he was telling me he'll help me out with my merch too or whatever. But I really do want to do merch. I want to get into real estate too. So it's not that I want to. I'm going to. So that's gonna be the next thing, because I just want to have my hand into like a little bit of everything outside of, you know, media, entertainment. But come the fall, you're gonna see me back like real heavy outside in the streets when it comes to like radio and media and stuff like that, because I do have some things lined up. But yeah, it's all gonna manifest out.
Dope.
Yeah.
I don't think I seen wrong. Didn't you like dab in the music for a second?
Yes.
Yo, that moment was dope. That was
right.
What made you want to do that and like get on the artist side of things?
So shout out to Only Way Out Studios. That's like my studios that you know, I help out a lot with. The Bro Magic. I'm just always in there, and like some artists have actually hit me up to be like, oh, can you come pull up and listen to my stuff, or we having a listening session over at a studio, whatever. So I would just be in there, and it's just like you just start vibing, and it really came about. It was like a joke at first, I guess, because the songs you probably heard. Well, you've only heard one song that's actually out. It's Drip Drop. Shout out to my girl Miss T. But I have like 4 songs with like Magic. I have like 2 songs by myself. Like, yeah, it's crazy. So just being, you know, just be in the studio. Sometimes you're there like a long time, and after the artists leave, or you just there just to like kick it with the engineers and stuff, you know?
Yep.
So you just kind of be like, oh, all right. You got producers in there. But yeah, I do have some songs, and like 2 of my songs are like so fire, but I just haven't dropped it. No, I'm trying to drop it by the end of the summer. I want to do a video too, but I don't want to do a video like this. But yeah, I mean, I could be on my Cardi B-ish, but you know, cause she did it when she was pregnant. But
it happens when the time's right.
Facts.
Right. That's fired.
Cause music is timeless anyway, so it's like, and you could create the wave that you want everybody else to be on.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. And this is what I was gonna ask you. So like, the things we're doing out of our hometown, and just from my perspective, I feel like you could go to any state and do what you're doing at a high level, or maybe even a higher level. I don't know.
Yeah.
What makes you stick to your city and like focus on building a culture out here?
Because I know we can be on that higher level. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And at the same time, I put my energy and time into here. I do put my energy and time outside. Like, I'm not just like stuck in, you know, like what they say, like a crab in a barrel, or like the pond mentality. Like, no, I'm in the ocean. I'm swimming. You feel me? I dip and dab wherever. But I just know that it's so much here. Like, we can have that source here. You know, we can be a Hot 97 and all that here. We just got to figure it out. And like, we have all the pieces.
Right.
We have all the pieces to the puzzle. We just have to put it together. And you know, some people have like the same type of piece, or you know, with a little jagged edge or whatever. So we just got to figure out which ones work collectively to actually do some things. And like, I spoke off camera on the people that I would genuinely work with to like really, you know, take it to another level. And maybe we need to sit down and have a meeting and figure it out. You know, because we all do things individually, but collectively we could be so much further. Like, your network is bananas. Like, you know what I'm saying? So.
No, that's it. You broke that down perfect.
Yeah.
And like we were saying off camera, it's in our hands. You know, that like, we're not gatekeepers, but we are the platforms for the city.
Facts.
And we bring the light on who we choose to bring the light on. So it's like, there's no reason why. Of course, we're smaller than Atlanta, but if we're activating these platforms in the right way and collaborating with each other, we could spark upstate New York to be like the next Atlanta, where people start moving here, get their career off the ground and stuff like that. Because it is New York at the end of the day.
It is.
It's just upstate, and it's like, what do you think the platforms have to do that we have? Because we each have podcasts. There's other people that have podcasts or shows or like whatever it is. What do you think us as platforms need to do to curate that talent and take it to the next level? Because if we get to a certain level, we can have the power to blow whoever we want up out of the city by using our reach and our followers.
So, say like we have like a big artist, right? I know I've reached out to like people when we had like media days and stuff for them to like pull up, so that could be like a networking thing.
Right.
So not only am I getting something out of it, but you can get something out of it too. But we can all collectively figure out like, all right, well, these are the artists that we have our eyes on, and this is what we want to like do. Then we could just start generating them through each other's podcasts. And you know what I'm saying? And then like trying to maybe put together like an event or whatever with those artists, like curating it around those artists, but then maybe bringing in some of our friends in the industry, because you know, I put everybody like on the same like beam or whatever, but you do have your industry friends. So like, yeah, I'm cool with them on a level like where like I'm cool with you, but if I want to do some business, then it has to be like legit. You feel me? Because I'm not about to just be out here looking like a lemon. Like, no. So I don't know. I feel like if we all just like pick some artists that we really want to like see, and we generate them through, and then maybe curate an event and have our like some of our clientele, like our industry friends come, then you know we'll start building that, because they'll be like, oh dang, we got A&Rs from here, or we got so and so, or you know what I'm saying, and like have somebody host, like you know how I shout them out, like we let them know like who's in the building. You feel me? And yeah, just stuff like that.
That's really it, because you're actively doing that too.
Like,
you've hit me multiple times like, yo, we have this artist coming.
I know you be busy though.
But like, I need to even make it way more of a point to do that, because that is the way.
Like,
we bring our artists out here, we want the artists to feel like it was worth coming upstate New York. They're gonna come to Manhattan and New York City and do their whole press run, but we need to make it worth it for them to come 2 hours out and do a whole nother press run. A press run that's worth it. For them. So if they're coming out here hitting 4 platforms on one visit, all types of artists coming out here.
It's crazy.
On the side of getting their bag for their show that they're probably doing out here. So like that's really.
And you might get features in the mix because like shout out to Ron Suno. He just did. I think he popped up at K Hollywood's pop-up shop. Shout outs to her. But he came to our studio like back in October. And it was such a vibe that he came back to the studio after he did her event. Because it was like, yo, like, I like that studio. I like where it's at. I like the vibe. I like the people. Like, y'all did great hospitality. So I'm coming back. So now they feel like when they're here in Albany, New York, that is their home studio in Albany. You know how some people go to the studios out in the city or whatever. What's the main one that's out there? Yeah, Quad. I've been to Quad too. Shout out Glick Jesus. I'm shouting out everybody. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I've been up in there with him or whatever when he did like stuff with like Favi and stuff. So it's like people have their home studios, you know? So it's like when you're out of town, you kind of want to have some type of like sanity too, you know? But yeah.
That's the formula, y'all. And we really about to make this. That's really the formula right there. And with everything going on, we can't predict the future, but 5 years from now, where do you see Keisha Renee, the brand being forever lit? Where do you want to see yourself?
I just see everything that I'm doing right now on like a whole nother level. Like I'm going to get to the bag for real. You feel me? Like I ain't broke out here, but like I know where I want to go, and I know like the what I put out. I just want it to last forever, you know. And I want to work smarter, not harder. I want, like I said, basically everything I'm doing to just like elevate and to really like be like, yeah, she really did that. So like we could do this interview again in 5 years, and then it'll be like, yo, you really did it. You know what I'm saying? Then I'll be like, because you know I'm still like I told Dills too, like I'm humble. I still feel like I'm a rookie in the game because I'm not where I want to exactly be at, but I'm not nowhere where I was, and like I have a clearer head, and like, you know, the pandemic was like bittersweet, but like shout outs to the pandemic because yeah, I got laid off at that time or whatever. But it gave me like clarity of like, you know, to like pivot, because like the world be going like so fast where it gave us time to like just stop, think, and be like, all right, this is what you need to do. You feel me? Like you have the tools to get you to where you want to go. So that's basically it. I'm just going to do everything on another level, period.
Blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
The pandemic. And nah, that's fire. And that's an ill outlook. I definitely see you being at the top.
Yeah.
For sure.
Likewise.
And we got any upcoming events that's happening soon, or anything that the people could tap in and meet Keisha Renee at?
Well, I'm probably going to go incognito for like 2 months. Right. But I do have some hostings that I have like booked in the summer, you know, once the summertime getting back open, things in that nature. And you'll be hearing me on people's commercials and stuff, because there's so many entrepreneurs out here that's opening their businesses that want me to like do their commercials. And it's crazy because I do have an array of people that I have reached out to during the pandemic. It was like, all right, because like the radio station be looking for different voices and stuff. So I'm like, all right, well, let me get my little team together. Let me put it out there like, oh, I need an African American, a white lady, you know, a Hispanic, you know. So I have those people to do those. But the crazy thing is, when people hit me up, they're like, no, I want you to do it. And I'm like, okay, like I'm trying to get some flavor, some sauce, but fuck it. You like my voice? Cool.
Yeah. Force of the city, for sure. And so where can people find you to connect with you online if they want to connect and get you on their platform, or to get you to host a commercial or event, or just how can people connect with you online?
Yeah, my Instagram is @it's Keisha Renee. Okay. Facebook is Keisha Renee. And if you're trying to like book at my studio or anything like that, it's Forever Lit Studios. The first E is a 3. So yeah.
Dope. And shout out you. Thank you for sitting down with us.
Yeah, no deals. This is awesome. I'm so proud of you though.
Proud of you too.
He's really the GOAT, y'all. He be shy and he be like quiet, but he's really the GOAT. Like for real. That's a fact, Dills.
Appreciate that. Appreciate
Seriously.
Look out for some dope things coming with RapDillz and Keisha Renee.
Yes.
Well, y'all see it when it comes. And thank you.
Facts.
Dope.